What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Neo Starling, and I am back here with another podcast. So we're going to be talking about something that a lot of people don't believe to be a real thing. Now, for quite a while, I myself thought that this thing that I am going to speak of was pure malarkey, but in fact, it is not. No. The reality is that when you stop and think about it, natural chemistry, right? What is natural chemistry? What is natural chemistry between a man and a woman, or a man and a man, or a woman and a woman? You know, all that good stuff, right? Throw all those different ones in there. Natural chemistry is essentially when two people seemingly out of nowhere can get together and bond and get along effortlessly without there having to be any sort of crazy deliberation between you and your friends, you know, trying to debate why this person doesn't like you or what the right word to say would be to get this person. No, natural chemistry is when you naturally vibe with each other. There is a vibe, there is a frequency, there is an energy release that happens when you encounter an individual that you seemingly get along with seamlessly without any real problems. Now, why is this so controversial? Why doesn't anybody ever believe that natural chemistry is a real thing? Well, it's the internet's fault, or partly the internet's fault, because what I've noticed over time and what ends up happening is that we overthink and overanalyze every single aspect of our lives, that it's gotten to the point that it's made us really neurotic if we stop and think about it, men and women alike. You know that saying, a cigar is just a cigar, right? Sometimes that's exactly what it is. It's simple. You don't overcomplicate it. Sometimes somebody just likes you and sometimes they just don't. It doesn't matter how good you look, how big your dick is, how tall you are, how intelligent, how much money you have, how much clout. None of these things matter in the grand scheme of things at the end of the day. If somebody doesn't like you, they simply just don't like you. A cigar is a cigar. Now, picture this for a moment. Have you ever ran into anybody and you struck up a conversation, right? Whether it was at a bar or a lounge, the library, anywhere, right? A restaurant. And you two just talked, right? It just happened so naturally. You didn't have to think up what you were gonna say. You didn't have to come up with some sort of cringe pickup line. You didn't have to use your clown game on the local talent. None of that had to happen. You just knew how to talk to each other. Maybe you saw a tattoo that was really nice on that person and you were like, hey, I really like your design, and then you start talking about it and you find things in common, right? You have common ground on something. When that happens, right, you start to build a natural rapport towards each other. It isn't difficult to talk to that person. If it feels like you're talking to somebody and you have to walk on eggshells all the time, there's not a natural chemistry between the two of you. Now, that's not to say that chemistry can't build over time, because it certainly can, because what are feelings if not time spent with others, right? That's what I think personally. But if you stop and you really think about it carefully, there have been connections that have just happened like that. It doesn't have to even be sexual. It could even be with your friends. Picture yourself when you were a child, right? And maybe you were in school and you were drawing something on a piece of paper and some kid leaned over to you and was like, oh, hey, I watched that cartoon yesterday, or I really like your art design. And then maybe you bonded over a character, right? And then suddenly you realize that you have a lot in common. You like video games, you like Barbie dolls, you like whatever it is that you like, whatever fancies your intrigue. It doesn't matter what it is. And through the process of said vibing, you figured out that there is a frequency to the two of you that allowed you to bond. What is a bond? A bond is a connection between one object to the other, that when they come together, there is a sort of synchronicity, right? You just kind of sync in together and things just flow naturally. That's what I believe natural chemistry is. And it's not really silly to think about it. Let's say you're a really geeky, nerdy kid, right? And mind you, this is for men and women alike. So let's not make it seem like I'm only talking to the guys, because I think the girls kind of had this issue sometimes as well. Let's say you're the geekiest you can possibly be, right? But somehow your crush can just talk to you about whatever your geek culture is. If you have a Pokemon shirt on and you're damn proud of the fact that you like Pokemon, you know what? That girl that you like or that guy that you like, they're gonna start to like Pokemon. Or if they don't, they'll at least ask you questions. They'll educate themselves on the topic, because they might not have an interest in that, but they have an interest in you. And because of said interest, they are going to take a more active role right, in the development of said relationship. Now, whether you have, a summer fling or, you end up being together for years or get married, that's besides the point. What I'm trying to really get across to all of you is that you don't have to go nuts and start deliberating in a corner with all of your friends, debating the pros and cons of what you said, deciphering their language and then suddenly realizing, oh, maybe I said this wrong. Or if I would have used this sequence of words in this pattern, things would have been okay. No, okay? Human beings are not video games, and game and words are not cheat codes. There are some people that no matter how hard you try, no matter how much effort you put into it, you won't get them. And you have to be okay with that, because you can't force emotion. You can't force attraction. That stuff has to come organically. It happens naturally. Now, maybe your looks got you in the front door, right? Let's say you're just really good looking and you passed the looks threshold. And now suddenly you're being given an opportunity to shine beyond what your mere appearance is. That's where your personality, your brain, the structure of who you are comes into play. And if that part captures the attention of said individual, then you're pretty much there. You don't have to struggle. These things happen seamless. Okay, when you're talking to somebody on the phone or you're texting them, you don't have to think about crazy elaborate words that you're gonna utilize. That's ridiculous. They're not some sort of, I always laugh when these things happen, because people really try very hard to try to decipher another human being as if there's some sort of algorithm that they can crack. No, they're not, okay? If somebody likes you just because you have a lot of money, then they're with you for the wrong reason, and that person indeed does not like you. There's a reason that they're with you, and if you were to lose your riches suddenly, that person would cease to exist from your plane of reality, okay? So be mindful of that. Natural attraction is, in nature, natural. It's something that just happens. I know what some of you are probably thinking. You're probably thinking to yourselves, you know what? This all sounds fine and dandy, but I never seem to have a natural connection with somebody. This is pure nonsense. Well, that's not necessarily true. You probably have experienced this at some point in your life. Whether you consider yourself a looker or not is besides the point, because water typically finds its own level, and people of all different ilks end up together inevitably at some point. Otherwise, we wouldn't have as many people on the planet as we do have, all right? Don't listen to anybody when they tell you, oh, the population of the planet is not as high as it used to be. That's nonsense. People are always gonna reproduce. They're always gonna have kids. That's always gonna be a thing, okay? And these things typically happen if you're not in a country where there's some sort of arranged marriage, where you're sort of forced to be with somebody. If you're in the United States or any other free country where you don't have to worry about that and you can pick your own partner, these things happen naturally. They happen organically, whether a friend of yours introduced you to somebody else or a family member introduced you. Once you vibe with somebody, once that energy, once that frequency hits you and you realize that you're vibing on the exact same frequency that they are, you will then realize, okay, I get it. This isn't hard. Because think about it. Are you gonna game your girlfriend every single day? Every hour of every minute of every day? Because if not, you're afraid you'll lose her? Do you have to maintain frame 24 hours? No, that's impossible. I would downright say it's even ridiculous. Think about it. Why do you have to struggle so much? You don't. The couples that are happiest and that are together the longest have a natural connection with each other. This is sort of a failure that I think the internet has done to young men and women alike. It's made us very neurotic with the way we communicate with human beings. We start looking at all these different podcasts, at all these self-help people. And, I get it. We're looking for answers. We're seeking some sort of closure. We're trying to find out why things are the way that they are. But in the process of doing that, you're forgetting a very simple life lesson. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, okay? There isn't any overcomplication when it comes to these things. If somebody doesn't like you, move on. Now really think about this carefully. Why would you want to make somebody that doesn't like you have any kind of attraction towards you? It's unnatural, it's illogical. Your emotional state is taking over at this point and you're not thinking clearly, all right? When that happens, these people are gonna leave you eventually. It is inevitable. They'll either cheat on you or they will, upgrade to the next best option because they never liked you to begin with, okay? Somebody that really likes you, they always say that there's no good women out there anymore. I don't really think that's true. And it's not to say that I have the perfect one or anyone has the perfect one, okay? Because at any given moment, anyone can betray you for whatever reason. But there do exist good people in this world, okay? And it's disingenuous and it's a little messed up to think that Some of this content that we consume has actually made us worse as people. It has made us overthink towards the point of oblivion in our own minds. You know, we don't see anything positive happening. We always look at the worst possible outcome. We look at what can happen instead of what will happen if we let things progress in a natural manner. Now, it's not to say that you can't make any improvements, right? Because here at Big Brother Neo's podcast, I do like to try to offer practical solutions. Nothing crazy, okay? Just simple little things that I believe can help your chances with said individual. Now, you've all heard me say this before. You've all heard me talk about, dressing better, getting in better physical conditioning, reading more, educating yourself more. These are all things that you should just be doing. Now, when you like somebody and they like you back, something that you have to invest in is something that us by nature are selfish and don't like parting with. Are you ready for that? It's time. Yes, there is time. Relationships are a battle of attrition. It takes time to develop real, genuine connection. You could start off with a good spark, but if you don't keep fanning it, the fire is not going to grow. That ember will dissipate, all right, into ashes, and it'll just simply go away, and you will end up with nothing. You have to put in time, and you have to not necessarily have the same interest that the person that you like has, but you have to at least act like you care. If you don't want to watch a TV show, if it's something that you think it's girly or silly and you don't want to watch it, heck, maybe sit down with them and watch it once in a while. You know why? Because I guarantee you that girl is also going to make the effort to know what kind of sports team you like. They'll probably buy you a jersey. You know what I mean? They'll ask questions when you're watching the game, because people that have interest in each other also tend to develop mutual interest together. So even if you don't like the same television shows or you don't have the same hobbies, that's okay. But you can meet each other somewhere in the middle. And I think that's where real connection comes from, because there is no such thing as a perfect connection. Relationships are hard. You have to work at them. Even the best, the most awesome of natural chemistry can falter. It can fail. It can dissipate into oblivion if you don't properly nurture it. Forget about what your friends say, forget about what your family say. They are not the ones in that relationship with you. You have to make it work for you, because you decided that deep down inside, I wanted something different for myself. And you know what? I get along with this person really well, and I don't give a damn what anybody else thinks. Really realize that, really ingrain that in your mind's eye. Get this instilled in you so much that you stop trying to decipher men and women constantly. It's not that complicated, all right? Guys, sometimes she's just not attracted to you, okay? Maybe she just doesn't, maybe you as a person she has nothing against, but maybe she's just not turned on by you. Maybe you just don't do it for her and she doesn't want to deal with you. Don't force it. Let her go, move on, because there will be somebody that likes you. And girls, same rule applies to you. Not every guy that doesn't like you is suddenly gay just because he doesn't give you the time of day. Like, how full of yourself do you have to be if that's what you're thinking? No, sometimes the guy probably doesn't like you either. Just because all of your friends told you you're gorgeous, heck, maybe you're not. Maybe you don't turn them on. Maybe you don't make them rise to the occasion, if you know what I mean. And that's also okay, because you can find somebody that fits well for you. But men and women alike, we have to start being more intellectually honest when it comes to ourselves, where we stand in life, and what we're capable of acquiring based off of our current level, and what we can get moving forward based off of our level of education and what we've taught ourselves over time. Even though you can get a natural connection, even though natural chemistry is real, it's hard work to keep it maintained. All right. And with that said, I think I've blabbered on long enough here. You guys know the deal, man. If you like this if you like this content and you want to support it, please feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, do the damn thing to help your brother out. I am Big Brother Neo from Neo Starling, Big Brother Neo's podcast, all that stuff on the internet. You can find me. All right. If you feel that you gained any value from this video, let me know. Send me a comment on the comment below, and we'll have a conversation. We can extend the thread of this topic if you like. But with that said, you are all awesome, and don't ever let anyone tell you different. Signing off.